Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Her Heads in the Cloud. We are currently live in season two. I'm very excited to be joined by Marjan today at AFG, currently head of cloud engineering. But I'll let you do a bit more of an introduction to yourself.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Marjan. As you introduced me, I am a head of cloud engineering and technology operations, and I have been with AFG for about a year and 4 months now. Time flies.
Oh,
It
wow.
was just like yesterday when I was offered the role. And
Mm-hmm.
prior to AFG, I was with Mayup, which is a finance company, for about a year, less than a year. And prior to that, I was with Bankwest for nearly 12 years.
And I guess that brings us quite nicely on to our first question. But when you first joined Bankwest as a graduate, did you already know cloud and infrastructure was the path that you wanted to take?
Oh my God, that's a hard no. And that is a hard no. When I joined Bankwest, I was a graduate in software engineering. And even prior to that, when I was doing my university preferences, I was doing a selection as to what uni degree I wanted to do.
Hmm.
I pretty much put hardware engineering the lowest of the list. So
Really?
engineering and electrical engineering were the lowest on my list, and software
Yeah.
engineering was pretty high on the list. But I think what makes this role, and I have learned that very well over the past year and a bit that I was with AFG, is how companies like Amazon or Microsoft brilliantly changed the idea of what cloud means and infrastructure means by abstracting at that layer of
Hmm.
hardware, physical hardware out. And I still can apply a lot of those concepts that I enjoy doing as a software engineer, like all those design principles that I have learned and I have applied.
Hmm.
Infrastructure is code. You can spin a whole entire new environment as
Yeah.
part of the code base. And, you could apply reusability, modularity, version control, all of it perfectly applies in today's world. And I think that to me was easily clicking. It was
Hmm.
quite easy for me to adopt. So I want to say, after all, I really didn't change myself for
Hmm.
infrastructure. I was lucky enough that in today's world, infrastructure really talks my language, which is software engineering.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful thing when everything aligns and it clicks and it almost feels natural.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And when we've spoken previously as well, you've mentioned leadership almost found you, which is quite special in itself, also, rather than you chasing it. So, how did that transition happen naturally over the past few years?
Um, this is a very good question, and I want to actually use this opportunity to tell my story. And I hope that someone else who listens to this podcast one day, a grad or someone interested in technology, feeling completely lost and not knowing where their career is headed, can relate to it, can see that if someone like me can do it, they can do it too. I joined Bankwest as a grad in 2013.
Hmm.
Um, I was very lucky to have been placed in an environment of people with lots of talents and high standards. And when you have a place like that, then you have got role models, you've got people to look up to.
Hmm.
I was fortunate enough in my very first rotation, grad rotation at Bankwest, that I was put in a team that our tech lead was someone that I wanted immediately to look like in the future. He's technical competency on one
Hmm.
hand, so his ability to manage the team and talk through the requirements ensure that customers' needs are met at the same time, to me was phenomenal. And it already set the bar pretty high to me. I think it was really within the
Mhm.
month and this rotation that I thought, I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I want to look like him. One day
Really?
I wanna add value like he does. It did not take me a year or 2, it really took me about 8 years to get
Yeah.
to technical leadership role, and it was really difficult, to get there. At Banquest, standards were high, so, and I did not really skip a step. I always went
Yeah.
one step at a time, so I became a software engineer after a grad role, a senior software engineer, and then I was seconded to a technical leadership position, and I
Mhm.
applied for it and I got it. It was after 8 years that I got there. But that was not the end of my story. Throughout these 8 years, I was fortunate to have done a lot of community events.
Mhm.
I attended Coder Dojo, which is a great event for kids. You know, you get to sit with kids and you get to teach them
Oh,
how to,
amazing.
like Raspberry Pis, programming robots, even like simple web applications to teach them like interesting concepts like event driven. You know, there is a cat, and if you click on the cat, it meows. You know, like
Stop
small things.
it.
It was so
Yeah.
cool to really like with the kids and teach them. But also beyond that, you know, Perth Web Girls to you know to try to mentor women or females interested in technology to learn Ruby on Rails. You know, we were able in 2 days to teach them how to do their first Hello World program.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
all of it, you know, came as a reward to me. Attending WA Information Technology Telecommunication Award as a judge, iAwards, which is a national level as a judge, um, all of it like built so much confidence in me that
Yeah.
one made me think about this whole mentorship and investing in someone else's career, you know, helping a senior dev, helping a developer, helping a grad to come up the ladder. And that's where I started thinking about leadership. It was, I think, a year and a half into technical leadership role that I thought, you know, now I want to combine all of it
Yeah.
with that passion in leadership and passion in people in general. And I applied for a software engineering manager role at Banquest. Um, it took me about 30 minutes of interview to fail. So immediately as part of the interview, they said, "Look, the resume looks great. You've done so well. We want someone who has that background." And in me, I was thinking, I just wish one person, and I just need that one person to see that in me and trusts me.
Yeah.
So I went through, I want to say, 3 interviews for different roles, and
Yeah.
every single one of them wanted an experienced software
No,
engineering
really?
manager. And I was getting to a very upsetting point that I said, like, you know, there is always that one person that needs to see that in you. Not everybody's born into the role. Everybody has had
Yeah.
that person to trust them.
Yeah.
I was very lucky that eventually I got to an interview where I was accepted for the software engineering position role in the very
Yeah.
first team that I joined as a grad. And
No way.
it was so cool. I was with the team for nearly 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And we did so much together, you know, lots of automation. It was one of the most critical applications for the bank. It was a monolithic application that added so much value. But with the team, we managed to do so much automation in that software. And it was honestly like the one of the best times of my career at Bankwest. After that, I was offered a similar role outside of Banquest, and it was the end of the world for me to leave this amazing place. But I wanted to do it because I knew that, you know, the sky's the limit. If there is a better opportunity outside, go for it. Um, I was with Maya, which technology-wise was so amazing. Technology was moving a lot faster, and I learned so much from it. Um, I was 8 months into the role, and I was thinking, what is next? Like, up until a tech
Yeah.
lead position, the path was quite clear for me. You go one step at a time. The job description was quite obvious for me. Software engineering manager was also the right career path for me from where I was with the
Yeah.
passion that I had for leadership. But what is after that? Like, how do people become CTOs? How do people become GMs? And that's where that's where the surprise came to me. So I got a LinkedIn message from my current manager who invited me for a coffee catch up. And
Mhm.
little did I know what was coming out of that catch up. But essentially, he said, "Look, I've heard so much about you, and you've been recommended to me by a few people from Banquest." And I was all over the moon. I wasn't sure what I've done, but apparently, when you've got a good
Right.
reputation, it pays off. So he said, "I've got a head of role," and I said, "What? What?" So this is how it came to me,
Wow.
and it basically caught me by surprise. I remember calling my husband and saying, I did not know like the head of role because in my mind I have no idea what it is. I just know it's somewhere much higher than senior, engineering manager role. But I guess I mean, it's been a year and 4 months into the role, and I'm loving every single day of it. There isn't a day without a challenge. With the head of role, there comes a lot with, financial side of things and budgeting and managing the budget and a lot of the things that I was not used to prior to this. But
Mhm.
I think it's important that you give your best to any job that you do because it gets noticed by someone else, a leader that has gone through the same exact path. They see
Yeah.
you, they acknowledge you, and then when there comes an opportunity that they're asked, "Do you know someone?" You could be that person that is
Yeah.
offered the role. I hope that this story becomes something good for someone who just enters into technology, and they see someone high up the ladder and they're like, "No, this is too far away. I'm not going to get there." I just want to tell them, set the bar high, give your best. You are going to be seen. Like, there is no way that your efforts is not going to be unnoticed.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that, Marjan. It's a really raw and authentic story. And it's also amazing for people to hear because sometimes you do have to get those no's and you can't be disheartened by the no's because ultimately, everything happens for a reason and you have to believe that something bigger and better is coming your way. And I guess that goes to show with your career.
100%. Just do not give up. Whatever you
Yeah.
do not give up. Give your best. You are gonna see
Yeah.
the outcome one way or another.
Yeah, 100%. And what would you say are some of the biggest challenges when leading cloud infrastructure and operations teams today?
Um, I think I've got about a couple in my mind. There's a lot, but I have a couple of them in my mind. And the first one is not necessarily related to the cloud infrastructure. I have seen that in different companies that I have worked for, and that is competing priorities. You know,
Yeah,
um, Being in this level, in the head of role, I fully understand that the company has got a strategic, direction. We want more customers. We want to make more money. We want to satisfy our customers. We want to stay relevant in the market. We want to be the best in the market. So I understand all of it. Product team, all the time, like to build new features. What's not communicated so well, and I think that's where the balance is not done right, is the amount of tech debt that is played into technical debt, that
yeah,
is played into the planning of the squads. Um, so one thing that I think that it's important for the business to know is you can continue to build new features on top of new features on top of new features without maintaining your underlying infrastructure.
Yeah.
So maintenance is a key here, and sometimes I even use a simpler example. If you've got a car, if you don't take it for a car service and you use that for 10 years, it's going to break down. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
Maintenance is a part of the work that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. Whether or not we're talking about a business application, we're talking about the third-party dependencies, making sure they're up to date, whether we're talking about patching the operating system,
Yeah.
need to stay on top of those vulnerabilities. One thing that, to me, business need to know is if we don't tackle technical debt, it will become a business debt in the future. And then there comes a time that you've got to drop your features that you've promised to
Yeah.
to customers in order to tackle all that, massive tech that has been built on top of each other.
Yeah.
So that, to me, the competing priority is one thing. Um, the other one that comes to my mind is how fast technology moves these days. Oh,
Yeah.
it's insane. Like, we're talking about every day, we're talking about every month. AWS, has got like yearly updates about this is the whole like 50 different like projects that we worked on. And
Yeah.
this is all in beta, but you're gonna be able to use that in the next month or so. How can we stay on top of it? You've got a small
Yeah.
team to run. Operationally, you need to ensure that well, we service our teams. We BAU, business as usual, goes well. We keep the lights on our production environments. But how can we ensure at the same time that we stay on top of this tech that moves on super fast? AWS, Azure, these are expensive environments, and we need to ensure that we make the best benefit and use out of them. We need to ensure that we do our experiments with the new tech that comes out to ensure they're
Mhm.
secure, they're fit for purpose, they support the strategic direction of the company, and offer
Mhm.
that squads. And we need definitely that balance, finding that balance to let the operation run smoothly and at the same time,
Mhm.
work on what's out there, what's the latest
Yeah.
tech. Can we utilize that in our ecosystem is another challenge. And maybe I just point out another one, and I think that's the top three that I have in mind. And the last one is cost optimization. I think with cloud, with
Yeah.
AWS, Azure, um, you could see some hidden costs every now and then. So
Yeah.
understanding what those are, because you obviously want to keep your environments scalable. You want to ensure that they are secure, but at the same time, you want to have an understanding about how a certain cost, happened to you, and how can I ensure that, this is the right cost. If next month I get another bill, does that make sense? So staying on top of the cost, optimizing it, ensuring that you understand the waste as opposed to what are the right features to use is also very important.
Absolutely. I was last week even, I was at the AWS summit, and it's interesting because I went 2 or 3 years ago, it's all about lift and shift, and things have changed so drastically now, and all of the talks are about AI, so you really do have to stick with the times, otherwise you will get left behind.
100%. Every time we also have a chat or a conversation with our AWS reps. And even people out in the community, the very first answer to any question is, have you used that AI agent? Have you used the other one? If
Yeah.
along the line of, have you used AI? I'm like, it
Yeah.
seems to be a buzzword these days, doesn't it?
100%. And that brings us quite nicely onto our next question. But do you think AI will change the types of careers young people should consider when entering the field? And how so?
um, I think AI will definitely change things, but
Hmm.
not in a way that a lot of people fear. So what AI is so good at is good at is automating tasks, repetitive tasks, you can never compete with AI to generate code. It's gonna win. You know,
Yeah.
it creates boilerplate code for you.
Yeah.
It writes an email perfectly for you, you know. But what it does not do well, or what it does not know how to do, it does not know the context, the
Yeah.
judgments behind it. And also, eventually, you are accountable for that email that goes out. You are accountable as a person for that piece of software
Yeah.
written by AI. So these are the things that AI cannot do for you. So I think it's a wrong narrative that people think that they'll be replaced by AI one day. I don't believe if that's the case. But what I want to tell young people entering this world is I think this generation is extremely lucky that they have such a powerful tool in their career. It's not going to replace them, but you need to learn how to use it. You need to understand how that can help with your productivity.
Yeah.
Uh, because what can be replaced is the person who doesn't know how to use it. You can be
Yeah.
replaced by someone else who knows
Yeah.
how to use it. And I think that to me is the main distinction. It's not going to, in my point of view, it's not going to replace people. It's going
Yeah.
to only increase the productivity of the work that we do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. That's a nice outlook to have. To not be scared of it, but to embrace it. And if you're, yeah,
Yeah,
coming into the industry with an open mind, it's almost easier, to be fair, if you've not had a career. If you've not had a career in engineering specifically, and you're just entering the field, then you don't know any different, really. So embracing AI is probably could even be, yeah, a little bit easier for the younger generation.
100%. I think older generation might feel more threatened by it
Yeah,
because it's gonna be a massive trend for them to now having to learn more. And
yeah,
when you are in a career path of like 20 something years and looking forward to retirement, like you were kind of just thinking, oh my God, I've got like, I don't know, 5 more years to go. Do I need to really learn about this? The reality is, if someone
yeah,
else knows it more than you, then the chances of you not having that next 5 years in your career then is high.
yeah. 100%. And what do you think young women need more of in technology right now? You know, there's a variety of things, whether it's visibility or confidence. What's your take on that?
Um, I think visibility is important. Having right mentor is definitely important. Representation is important, but beyond all of it, to me, is confidence, and that's something that I want to be honest about. Even in my career, it takes a lot for us as women to get to that confident level.
Yeah,
Um, we are in a very male dominant environment. And I was reading some stats some time back that, you know, for the same role, for the same exact role, when a male applies for it, if they match that job description 20%, they hit apply. Us women, we need to match it more than 95%. We'll look at every sentence. We try to understand, do I actually qualify for that single line? And it makes us think about our ability. It makes us question ourselves. So
uh-huh.
to me, confidence is very important. Sometimes we are in a room knowing a lot about a topic, but feel that we should not express our point of view because there is someone sitting in front of us, dominant, who might just speak better than us. So
Yeah,
I'd say, in my point of view, for us, confidence is key. And I
yeah,
personally would love to even hear it more from women in senior leadership, uh,
yeah,
to to come out and talk through about their journey, how they got to where they got to. They should have, you know, gone through a certain path, how they increased that confidence in them to continue to work and go up the ladder in this male dominant environment.
yeah. 100%. It's always inspirational, sharing their journeys, just like yourself today, of course.
Thank you.
Um, And finally, if you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of career advice, when you first started as a grad, what would it be?
Um, this is a very good one. I want to say I have been hard on myself all the time. A part of me always thinks that I needed to do that for me because it was important for me to have a career path, and I
Mhm,
chose to be hard on me, and that's why I'm here. But the older and hopefully wiser that I've gotten, um, I have learned that learning how to enjoy this path is a skill. All these years, past 17 years that I have been in industry is not gonna come back to me again.
mhm.
So there were times that I could have been kind to me and say, "Good on you. You have this role now. Enjoy it for a minute. Celebrate." But when I got to that role, I started just going through what are the job description, what are the tasks, I wanna nail them. And then what's next for me in the list? What should I do next? So I never actually just stood for a minute and appreciate it, and being kind to myself. So in short, that's what I would do next time, or that's a younger version of me would do is appreciate the moment, be
Yeah,
kind to yourself,
yeah,
enjoy this path because it's not going to come back to you again.
yeah. No, absolutely. Be kind to yourself. I do tell myself that on a daily basis. Very key. But thank you so much for joining me today, Marj. It's been truly wonderful and inspirational having you share your thoughts and your journey. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Her Heads in the Cloud.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.